What's up, Amazon sellers? If you are just starting to sell on Amazon, starting the sourcing process and worried about making mistakes, well, do not worry, because today I'm going to share with you the 10 common sourcing mistakes and what you can do to avoid them. Stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I've been selling on Amazon now for 4 years, and quite simply, I have been doing the online arbitrage business model UK for about 4 years, but also in the USA now for a couple of months learning that. So enough about me, what are we going to learn today? Well, first things first, number one, I'm going to go into the sourcing mistakes, give you an introduction to that. Number two, I'm going to talk about why it is important to obviously understand these mistakes. And then number three, I'm actually going to go through all 10 sourcing mistakes that Amazon arbitrage beginners make. And then finally, number four, I'm going to talk about what other FastTrackFBA users say that you can learn from them as well. So let's get into it now. Okay, so first things first, let's give you a little bit of an introduction. So look, as a seller who's just started on Amazon, there are some mistakes you can easily make without realizing it. That is why I've created a series of videos which I'll share with you the common mistakes from different Amazon selling stages, from sourcing products to restocking items, and then things you need to know to sidestep them. But in this video today, I'm going to focus on the sourcing stage, which is one of the toughest stages of the Amazon reselling process. So let's talk on now about number two. Why is it important to know this? Well, quite recently I posted a poll, should we say, on our YouTube community, and we asked, what is the hardest part of selling on Amazon? Out of 135 votes, 76% of the people came back with sourcing as the hardest part of selling on Amazon. Now, that is with the online arbitrage model, should we say. Now, for me, I would agree that this area is the area that we add the most value within the business model as business owners and obviously operators. Now, in addition to that, time is money as well. So as much as possible, we want to make sure that the sourcing process is as fast as possible, and we're avoiding wasting time because we have other things to be thinking about, not just sourcing. Quick question for you today. I am focusing on the sourcing part, but I want to know, what is the toughest part of selling on Amazon for you? Is it sourcing? Is it restocking? Is it admin? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested. Right, this leads me nicely onto my third chapter, which is, well, the 10 sourcing mistakes that Amazon arbitrage beginners make. Let's jump into them now. Number one, the first and most common mistake is seeing the price difference and assuming it's profitable. Now, there are thousands of products that can be found online that are actually cheaper than the products sold on Amazon. I know, amazing, but it doesn't actually mean it's going to be profitable to sell. Even if it looks like you're going to be making a profit, are things such as the weight, the size, maybe the length of the shipping time, or the length of time it spends in Amazon, and obviously the fulfillment centers are all going to be shaving money off that profit you think you're going to be making. Now, this is even before a competitor comes in and undercuts your price, obviously reducing your profits even further. So what can you do in this situation? Well, top tip for you, aim for a higher ROI on your products. Simply aiming for a higher ROI or return on investment that is going to be able to withstand the pressures of other sellers, but also returns, and even if the item doesn't sell. Now, if you want to make sure that you're actually making money, use a calculator and put in all the fees like prep and shipping fees and storage fees. And what I really recommend for new sellers is a good guide to go for is things with at least 30% profit in them, or 30% ROI, should we say. Now, over time, you'll figure out maybe a lower or a safe minimum ROI that works for you in your business, but make sure that you are working for that 30% profit or 30% ROI, and obviously you'll start seeing a good volume of sales and obviously making the money. Now, that leads me on to the second mistake that people make, is buying items that are not selling well. So what we've just learned about is using a calculator to know the profit and ROI, but the important thing is that some people fail to consider in learning is how to read what's known as a keeper chart to know if a product is selling by understanding the sales rank history over time. Now, you might be asking, why is this important? Simply put, profit and ROI mean nothing if the product never actually sells. So by ensuring the product is actually selling is the key to the deal analysis process. because profit and ROI is only potential. It isn't realized until the product sells. Now, what I recommend for you is to avoid sourcing products that are not selling. Simple, hey? Now, in generally, I would say calculator or calculator tools such as like FBA Multi-Tool, Buybot Pro, SAS, RevSeller, etc., if they generally show above 50 sales a month, then use that. But what I also say now is also do check the keeper graph to see if you agree with what the calculator is saying. Why? Well, because the deal might have good profit and ROI, but the product is not selling. Sometimes calculators can go wrong and they do give you inaccurate information. So double check the calculator's assessment of sales velocity by checking the keeper graph to confirm this assessment. Now, I could do a whole video on how to calculate check sales on Amazon using, should we say, tools and keeper charts. And you know what, actually I did. So what I'm going to recommend to you is have a look up here to a video I created where I show you how to calculate sales in different ways for Amazon products. Check that out. Now, the third mistake is sourcing slow moving products and then buying them without checking the keeper graph and the competition. Just because there is a listing for something on Amazon doesn't necessarily mean that there's someone out there who wants to buy that product right now. Now, there are plenty of things that, should we say, are too niche, too expensive, or just not right for anyone who want to part their cash with. Now, what do you do? Well, again, I come back, keeper is the key to finding out how much demand the product has. And by checking past sales rank data over time, it is possible to make a prediction on how quickly that item is likely to sell based on the sales performance in the past, obviously in the future for you when your product lands in Amazon. Now, what I will say is price tracking is just as important for the same reasons as it is checking the sales rank. Now, the extra thing that I will add to this is you might have just found a product that is selling well and you've done the analysis, well done, but you might still not be getting any sales. Why? Well, it might be that it's selling a few units per month, enough that you thought, but what you haven't done is you've not checked the competition on the listing, and as a result, those sales on that listing, while there are not many, are actually being shared across lots of sellers. So again, don't just look at the sales rank on its own or sales estimate within the tool, also take into account the new seller count or the competition to understand actually how many sales are you going to get once you divide it across the competition. Really important there. I'll move on to my fourth mistake that a lot of people make, which is sourcing too little. Now, if you are here to make money, then what should you be doing? You should be stepping up your game and considering purchasing a volume of products you want to sell, because if you're not sending enough items to the prep center or the fulfillment centers, long story short, your sales are going to dry up. You see it in sales charts all the time. Big sales, nothing. Big sales, nothing. This is just shipments going in, selling out, and then nothing. So your sales are drying up. Now, you'll hear a lot of people talking about, should we say, going wide and not deep. But if you go too wide, you just won't have enough stock to cover your costs because you're purchasing too few items. So the solution for this is be on the lookout for products all the time. Now, if you can't be there doing it, get someone else on the job for you. And there are lots of different ways you can source the different products to sell. It might be like things like leads lists, VAs, sharing deals in a deal pool, lots of different ways. The more you source, the more you can buy, and the more you buy, the more you can sell, and the more you sell, generally, the more profits you make. Simple. Now, to improve your sourcing, you can also source from, should we say, deal websites or sign up for newsletters, and to get more deals because you're going to be receiving emails stating that sales are available. Now, if you want to know some of the best deal websites that I've used before, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link up here to a video I created called 3 Profitable Deal Websites for Amazon Arbitrage and FBA UK. Check that out. I think that's going to really help you out with that problem. Now, the fifth problem we have is what I call, should we say, a scattergun approach to sourcing or random sourcing. Now, how do you know if what you're doing works and what doesn't if you are not tracking it? If you're always sourcing at random, just looking for random things, you probably more than likely go over the same ground multiple times, failing to look after certain areas and generally doing things in a very inefficient manner. Now, you might be asking the question, what is the best way to deal with this? Well, quite simply, the best way is when you have a process in place and you stick to it. Experienced sellers always have a handful of different ways that they find products, and they will probably have taught other people and how to do it, and they follow them and they do those methodologies on their behalf. So for you, do the same, learn from other sellers, find out what their methodologies are, or find out what methodologies are working for you and repeat them. Now, there are lots of YouTube videos available. It will give you an idea of how to find products to sell on Amazon and also the ways to go about finding them that really work. Now, I've just been talking about finding deals, looking for deals, leads, for example, lots and lots of work about that. And it is one of the most common mistakes. People not finding enough deals, not having a great process, they just don't have enough time. And I really understand that. So if you are struggling for leads, wanting to get more leads, and obviously are looking for better quality leads as well, look no further and check out the FastTrackFBA lead service. This is a service I created whereby we have VAs sourcing 7 days a week in the UK and USA. And what are we doing? Well, all my deals, all my leads that we're finding, we put them onto our web platform. That means you can search through every single deal that we get, not a selected amount, but every deal that we find every day, and you can pick and choose the deals that you want. Any problems with the deal, out of stock, issues with the product, mismatches, you can literally get a refund straight away and carry on reviewing more deals. Honestly, it's a real game-changing platform that is just changing the way people are sourcing for leads right now. Have a look down below. I'll drop a link to FastTrackFBA leads. Trust me, I think it's going to really change the game and the way you're working. Check it out now. Now, that leads me nicely on to number 6. Other than sourcing, should we say, at random, the 6th mistake that people make is using one sourcing method in isolation. Now, doing this is going to eat up a lot of time because by only using one sourcing method, you are going to miss out on a lot of great opportunities. So if you want to avoid this from happening, what I really recommend doing is experimenting on your sourcing process, like mixing different methods together. I'll give you an example. Reverse sourcing, should we say, from emails, or maybe storefront stalking and reverse sourcing. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Learning from other experienced people or other experienced sellers and what sourcing method they're using and even strategies combined is going to really help you out and it's going to speed you up. Now, what I will say is that I will drop a link to a video up here called How to Find Products to Sell on Amazon. It's just going to help you understand different methodologies and obviously find more products. Watch that, it will help you out. Now, the 7th and most common mistake I see a lot is that beginners, they make the mistake of reading what's known as the parent ASIN and not the child ASIN. But before I elaborate on this, what I want to do is just really define exactly what I'm talking about. So what's the difference between a parent ASIN and a child ASIN? Now, the parent ASIN is what's known as a non-buyable entity, and it is only available, should we say, in the search results to allow you to see what's known as the variations. Now, to put it simply, it's like, should we say, the overall of the product, the overarching of the product. So the parent ASIN is, should we say, like a holding ASIN where there are all the child ASINs, and the child ASINs are the ones you buy. So the child ASINs, on the other hand, is a product relating to other products within the parent listing. So each child ASIN will be a variety. So say, for example, it could be something like a variation on size or color. So if I give you a really good example, so a customer might be looking, should we say, at a long sleeve t-shirt, parent ASIN, and when they click on one of the products that offer, should we say, the t-shirt comes in 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. Now, each one of those sizes is what's known as a child ASIN. They're the products you can buy, but they're all grouped together in a parent, which is just the t-shirt itself. So long story short, you can't buy the t-shirt itself, but you buy the t-shirt at a certain size, which is a child ASIN, and that is why we have what's known as variation listings. So to properly demonstrate this to you, what I'm going to do is just jump on my computer right now and show you how to locate, say, or see what a parent ASIN is and to understand it. But before I do that, I need to have a tool, should we say, like Keeper installed to be able to show me the variation, and I'll show you it and also the child ASINs as well. Now, right now I'm using a paid version, but I think you might be able to use this on the free version as well, but we'll jump on the screen share and have a look. So let's jump on now. Right, okay, so I've just loaded up into this product right now, and if we just scroll down, I'm going to go all the way down to Keeper. So looking down, you can see here Keeper. Now, interestingly, I'm not logged in, so it's the same as the free version. So I'm just going to zoom in on this Keeper chart here, just try and get it bigger on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over and click on this variation tab, and what you can see is it gives you all the different variations. So here you go, you've got different flavors of this product, and you can see it and you can see all these different variations. So you can see what they are and obviously what's going on. And you can see, here we go, the ASIN as well for each child product. Now, the one thing which I will just say, if I zoom out and scroll back up to the top of the product, you can also see when you see a variation, you're going to see here, you generally get what's known as these kind of options to choose other flavors. That's just going to let you know that there is a variation. So be mindful of that. Now, the parent ASIN is the thing that holds all the childs together, and the child is each one of these products that obviously you can buy. Now, after knowing how to locate the parent and child ASIN, what we will do is we're going to go back to, solving the problem of how to read the sales of a parent ASIN, or should we say, how to read the sales of a child ASIN, not just the parent ASIN. Now, simply put, if you mistakenly read the sales of the parent ASIN, you're going to overestimate the sales velocity of the product. Why? Because you're not getting accurate data for that one product. You are actually getting accurate data for all the products combined, i.e. the parent ASIN. So to do this, we need to check the child ASINs and see which one's the fastest selling. Now, before I jump back on my screen, what I will say is that having a tool like FBA Multi-Tool is going to really help you, and we'll use that in this demonstration, but also I'll try and show you how you can do it in the free version of Keeper as well. So let's have a quick look now. So here we are, again, exactly the same product. When you load up FBA Multi-Tool, and that's this product here, what you can do is click on Variation Viewer, and what it's going to do is going to show you all the products. Now, this ASIN that we've got is ending in 13K. So I'm just going to have a quick look down. You can see here 13K. Now, interesting enough, at the top we've got here like image, price, size, total reviews, flavor, percentage reviews, and how many reviews we've had in the last couple of days. Now, quite simply, what am I going to be looking at? Well, actually, I am looking at what's the number of reviews this product has had as a percentage of total. Now, for some reason, FBA Multi-Tool is going a bit crazy. It's doing 4,525. But what I might do is I might have a look at how many reviews we've had over the last 30, 60, and 90 days. And I can see here, just kind of doing the analysis past all the other ones, this has got 455, which is a lot more than the others. So I'd feel quite confident that this would have out of all of the sales of the product, and if we go back to Amazon quickly, or the tool, it's saying like 349 to 457. This is going to be a much higher percentage of those deals. So of those sales, sorry. So something important to know there. Now, how do you do this in Keeper on the free version? Let's scroll back down again. Well, very simple. What you can do is, again, go back to the variation tab. We are here. Again, find that ASIN, which is yours. And remember, ours ends in 13K. So we'll just try and have a quick look. See if I can find it here. Again, 13K. And what you can see here is it's got reviews. We've added this in. You can do it on the free version. 72 of the reviews are for that 13K. The only problem you get by doing this method is that is the total reviews over all time, not the recent reviews. So you might be misled because historically it might have done really well, but recently it hasn't been selling. So just be mindful. Now, what are we doing? We're basically trying to take the review count and understand by what percentage of the total reviews this one child ASIN has had will be a proportion of how many the sales is doing right now. So if this product represents a lot of reviews, of the recent reviews, then we'll probably say it will represent quite a high proportion of the sales. But if it's got like no reviews of recently, then I'll probably say it's not getting any of the sales. So just be mindful of that. That's something to check out. Now, I'll just summarize again. The goal here is quite simply to locate the child ASINs which have the fastest selling, which is the fastest selling out of all the child ASINs. And we can do that by figuring out which one has the highest percentage of reviews. Now, FBA Multi-Tool will help you in that. And again, I'll drop a link down below to FBA Multi-Tool. Check that out, it's going to help you. But also you can do it with the free version of Keeper, but it's just not as accurate. So be very careful. Now, this leads me nicely onto the 8th mistake, which is taking too long to decide and then missing out on a deal. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, or should we say, why is this a problem? Well, quite simply, you are wasting time on bad deals, trying to make a deal work, trying to make it happen. Should we say you are wasting time working on that deal instead of checking for other deals, which is actually slowing down your sourcing process. Now, I've been there before and I've seen many people do it before. Should we say, if you see a red flag on your deal, it might be like it's hazmat or dangerous, or even just like the profit and ROI are not really there, but you're trying to make it work, or should we say Amazon's on the listing, then what I would say is just stop. move on to find the next deal. Don't try and make that deal work. It doesn't help. Why? Because it's just going to eat your time, and if you are going through to the next stage, which is analyzing, it's even more time you are taking up. So if you see any of your indicators, which we say showing it's a bad deal, those red flags, then move on. Now, if you want to understand more about what are red flags when sourcing, what I'm going to do is drop a link above to a video I created called Beware of Those Sourcing Red Flags. That will help you out as well. Now, this leads me nicely onto the ninth mistake, which is quite simply mismatched items. Now, this happens when you buy products that you found online and then fail to double check the details of the item. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we can all generally do matching, but sometimes we find that there's problems with the listings, and we see this time and time again. Now, if I give you an example, the description states that maybe it's like a 12 pack, but the photo indicates, we say it's a 24 pack, which is misleading. Now, I'll share an overlay around here of a product, and I think it's like a Felix product that I've seen before. This is a 12 times 100, and then the photo, that's in the title, but then the photo indicates a 24 pack. Now, you might be asking what happened if the item is mismatched. Well, quite simply, you're going to get bad reviews, bad feedback, and then as a result, you sent the item into the customer, they're not going to be happy, and obviously they are going to ask for a refund, and it's just going to mean more costs for you. So what can you do to avoid this? Well, what I'd really recommend for you is always double check the details from the supplier and also Amazon. Be super aware. Also, as well, you can do things like checking UPCs, GTINs, manufacturer part number, manufacturer reference numbers. And another top tip I'd really share with you is, if you're not sure, is go down and have a look at the reviews. Generally for me, anything under 4-star reviews, I'm just going to have a quick skim over the reviews. Why? Because I want to see if maybe the listing has changed over time, and as a result, it used to be a 2-pack and now it's been changed to a 1-pack, and as a result, maybe it's a bit misleading. So having a look at anything below 4-star review is going to help you spot anything where maybe the listing has changed, someone's edited it, and it's going to potentially cause a problem for you. Check that out. Now, this leads me nicely onto the 10th and the final sourcing mistake that we see. And quite simply, what is it? It's seasonal products. Now, this becomes an issue when you're sourcing, should we say, seasonal products, and you're failing to check the keeper graph. Now, if you want to sell seasonal products, make sure you're checking the full history, or at least a 1 year of the product, or should the item, on Keeper. Why? This is to see if the item is only selling at certain times of the year or seasons, or not. Now, for example, if you check the last 3 months worth of data on an advent calendar on the 10th of December, you might be thinking you're onto a winner because the sales are getting better and better and better and better. But hey, even in January, you might be thinking the product is great, but once you look at the whole year spreading out over that keeper chart, you're going to start to notice that actually advent calendar sales really drop off in January, and as a result, it's actually not a good deal. Now, other than checking keeper, another top tip I can give to you whenever you're sourcing seasonal products is sourcing these items 3 months beforehand. Why? Because with that, what you're going to have is still going to have time to buy the items and get them shipped into your house or prep center beforehand. But remember, that is if you are trying to source seasonal items. If you are not trying to source seasonal items, make sure you're checking that keeper chart at least over 1 year, if not all time, to see a seasonal trend. That's really important. Now, that is the 10 top reasons that I've learned about, but what I'm going to share now is moving nicely onto my 4th chapter. What are other FastTrackFBA users saying? So quite simply, we posted this question on our Facebook group and asked, what are the common sourcing mistakes that when they make, should we say, sourcing on Amazon? And you know what? The FastTrackFBA users came back with the following answers, and I'll read some of them now. Should we say missing good products, rushing, reading a child ASIN, should we say subcategory as the main category. Someone said they've been caught twice recently not doing that. Buying for the sake of buying, looking at variants. People really don't like variants. That's a child parent ASIN problem. Taking too long to decide, missing out on deals, I certainly understand that one. And hey, going too deep because it seems great and then everybody piles in. Remember, I talked about that sharing or understanding that not just the sales, but sales with a new seller account. Now, should we say, Holland and Barrett penny deals. People are saying like, stay away from that. Overthinking, you know, there's enough data that says it's good, not taking action right away. I think some really, really good advice there and feedback from the FastTrackFBA users. Thank you for everyone who commented on that. Now, what I will say is thank you again to all those people who responded. And I think it's super useful, that information. The beginners who are starting to sell on Amazon is just going to help you out. Now, what I will say is if you are one of those people who are, should we say, starting on Amazon, and I think, should we say, maybe you want to look at joining our Facebook group, I'll drop a link down below. And you know what? It's composed, should we say, of many, many Amazon sellers at all levels, myself as well, doing 7 figures in Amazon. So check it out, the FastTrackFBA Facebook group. I'll drop a link below. It's going to help you out. Now, what I will say is after going through those 10 sourcing mistakes that generally beginners make, what you want to consider watching is a playlist I created called Sourcing 101, which is a series of videos that will guide you through finding the best products to buy and resell on Amazon. And I'll drop a link around here to that video. But what I will say is hopefully you've liked this video. Give me a big thumbs up, hey, and if it's helped you, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. That's going to notify you when new videos are released. But from me, Thomas Parkinson, and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.